Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of In Depth with Academia. I'm your host, Richard Price, CEO of Academia.edu, and I am absolutely thrilled to have you with us today. So, let's just dive straight into it, shall we? Today, we're exploring a rather intriguing paper written by none other than Franklin Hu. The title is The Electromagnetic Wave as an Ordinary Wave, which, if you ask me, sounds like it's about to challenge some pretty fundamental concepts in physics. Now, just remember, while I'm presenting this paper's ideas, it doesn't mean I'm necessarily endorsing or agreeing with its conclusions. Our goal is to explore and understand, not to pass judgment or decide on absolute truths. Now, Franklin Hu asks a very bold question right off the bat. What if everything we know about electromagnetic waves is, well, wrong? The picture we're used to, where electric and magnetic fields dance around each other at right angles, might actually be misleading. Hu suggests that electromagnetic waves are actually more like sound waves, a simple compression wave in a particulate medium. Isn't that something? Okay, let's pause here for a moment because this is a lot to digest. The imagery we're accustomed to comes from the equations of Maxwell, which are deeply entrenched in our understanding of electromagnetism as involving these dynamic electric and magnetic fields. But no one has really observed these fields rising and falling in space in a literal way. So, Hu's paper stirs the pot by suggesting that maybe we ought to look at electromagnetic waves differently, like sound waves moving through air, just as compression waves. Yes, this is indeed a significant departure from conventional wisdom. Wild, huh? Now, let's continue. If electromagnetic waves were indeed compression waves, similar to sound, Franklin points out there are some challenges. For instance, there's the whole issue of mediums. Sound waves need air to travel through, but electromagnetic waves can cruise through a vacuum. If light is essentially a sound-like wave, what's this mysterious medium it travels through? Enter stage right, the ether. This idea of an all-pervading medium, discarded after Einstein's theories, was commonplace in early physics. Franklin rekindles this notion, theorizing that maybe space isn't as empty as it seems. Could there be something out there, like a dense neutron sea, through which these waves propagate? Now, there's more to chew on here, like the neutron sea being made of what Hu coins as poselectrons, an imagined fusion of electrons and positrons, forming stable particles invisible to us. You get this idea that space could be filled with these particles, making it all sound very Matrix-like. But again, you see, I'm just relaying the paper here, no endorsements implied. It's fascinating to think about how this hypothesis could reshape our understanding of phenomena like polarization. In conventional terms, light can be polarized, a property not shared by sound, and this fact bolstered the idea that electromagnetic waves were different. However, Hu suggests, if light travels in ordered rays through this dense hypothetical medium, we can explain polarization without a transverse wave, a provocative thought. One of Hu's significant claims deals with how these waves might work, much like sound, at the atomic level, impacting the photoelectric effect, where light ejects electrons from metal surfaces. It's traditionally argued that frequency, not amplitude, of this light wave affects electron ejection, which led to quantum mechanics' birth. Suddenly, this new wave theory suggests amplitude just can't change before the atomic level because of the way these waves are made. It's quite something. Right. Diving deeper, there's also the matter of Hu's explanation for light traveling as a ray without dispersion. Imagine a world where space is filled with an infinitely dense lattice of these poselectrons, stopping light from spreading out like ripples on a pond, but instead forcing it into straight lines, much like beams, lasers perhaps. Well, let's take a brief detour here for a moment. I caught myself daydreaming about what dinner on Mars might look like. Do you think the French would insist on exporting their fine cheeses there? Okay, back to the paper. Sometimes the mind just wanders, doesn't it? All right, as we're wrapping up here, what does all this mean for you, the listener, and the broader world of research and discovery? Hu's paper isn't claiming an overhaul of all known science. Rather, it's a provocation, a spark, if you will, urging us to question and explore more. That's the spirit of academia, delving deeper into the what-ifs and how-comes, pushing boundaries, even if the path it takes might sometimes seem outlandish or unconventional. Remember, scientific research is a canvas painted with sometimes dizzying strokes of speculation and theory, all waiting to be tested, verified, or debunked, and that's what makes this academic journey so thrilling. We're all explorers seeking to understand more about the strange orchestra of waves and particles that shape our universe. And with that, we've come to the end of another riveting session here on In Depth with Academia. I hope Franklin Hughes' exceptional paper has stimulated your thoughts and fostered an urge to delve even further into the world of scientific inquiry. Thanks for joining me, Richard Price, on this adventurous investigation. Until next time, stay curious and keep questioning.